When it comes to winter driving, are you one of the people that goes out every year and buys a set of snow tires? If you are, I think this is a video you should watch. Because if you want to know about driving in snow, there's no better place to go to than Canada and ask the people there, because we deal with a lot of snow. Not just a little, especially in Western Canada, it gets pretty deep. What this video is going to explore is the question of whether you actually need snow tires. So it's reasonable to ask, are you wasting your time when you're putting on snow tires every year, spending extra money for an extra set of tires, and back to your summer tires again in the spring? This may be a surprising video to some of you. What I've done is I've taken a look at the question of all-weather tires. And I'm not talking all-season tires, but all-weather tires that are rated for winter temperatures, and asking the question of Canadians, which is better, all-weather tires or snow tires? And the answers to this question that you receive from Canadians might surprise you. I'm not talking just any Canadians off the street. I'm talking about a discussion I began recently on a Facebook group for hunters. And on this Facebook group there are hunters of many backgrounds with a wide range of experience. We have people coming in who have lots of experience in the oil field. Alberta is a very active region for that. People who are truckers, people who work in tire shops for many years, and hunters. All the kind of people that have to go out occasionally, and sometimes very frequently, out in deep snow in unknown conditions in the bush. So this is actually of particular interest to those of you who hunt and go into the back roads pretty frequently. Really, is it possible, this is the question of this video, is it possible that most people have been doing it wrong and thinking about this subject wrong all their lives? Is it possible that all-weather tires are actually better than snow tires? Not just equal to, but maybe even better. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you the responses I got to this question, because I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. There are going to be a lot of varied responses. There's going to be positions on both sides of this, and I want you to be able to read for yourself what the responses are, because they're very interesting and often very well thought out. Some of them are just kind of off the top of their head type of comments, but a lot of them are very well reasoned. So and they're backed up by experience. So maybe pay special attention to those who really have experience and have training in this area of tire technology and things like that. So let's get started on this video. I think you're going to find it very interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the video scroll on the side of the screen here, and just going to follow along, and I'll comment a little on the responses that you see. And you can see for yourself how much weight is given to each side of this issue. And at the end, I think you're going to come away from this with a much better understanding of how tires work, a lot of interesting insights, and you'll also have a little better idea of how to handle snow in the course of this, how to get through deep snow and when you shouldn't go and things like that. So I hope you enjoy this video. I think you will.
Oh yeah.
Okay, shall we get started on this then? Let's start off with the beginning of this discussion thread where I introduce the problem. I'm going to read along with this for you just to help make it clear, and maybe we'll kind of skim over some of the smaller comments and focus more on the major ones, the ones that have had more thought put into them. But even along the way, you'll get a sense of what the balance is of opinions on this subject. So let's begin here with looking at the introduction to the issue, all weather or winter tires. Okay, I sort of dread the reaction I'm going to get for posting this, but hear me out. I was at my usual tire store a while ago, having decided to buy new tires. I sometimes have to get through quite a bit of snow to get to the trapping cabin, so I told the guy there, who I've known for a while and actually trust quite a bit, I need a good set of snow tires for my truck. His reply, knowing the places I have to get to, was quite surprising. He told me, "No, you don't want snow tires, you want some good all-weathers." What? Well, he then went on to explain that in terms of being able to throw snow out of the treads I should say, all-weathers are actually better at it. If your treads don't clear, you don't have traction. Snow tires don't clean the snow out of their treads as well, so you'll actually get better traction with all-weathers that have a good aggressive tread design. Now, this part of the explanation I came to sort of doubt a little bit later on, because others have made good points saying that actually the snow in the treads assists in your traction, and it depends on the type of snow, but think of it as having two snowballs that are kind of that sticky snow, and they stick them together and you try to wiggle them apart. There's friction from snow on snow. But that said, I mean, this is a valid point too, that you want to be able to throw the snow out of your tires. I notice that a lot with driving in mud on slippery surfaces. You have to get to a certain speed before you can get the centrifugal force throwing the mud out of your treads. Otherwise, you wind up just driving on slicks, basically. So let's just continue on here. If your treads don't clear, okay, we read that. Anyone else heard this or found this to be true? So I'm asking the group here, I wonder what other people's opinions are, because it's a little bit counterintuitive, isn't it? Snow tires are made for snow, and here's this guy telling me that no, you're actually better off with all weathers. In a way, I can believe what the guy says for two reasons. Maybe snow tires are called that because they are just better for traction on ice, not necessarily better for snow, because their softer rubber can grip ice better. And I think this is a very valid point, that snow tires are made of softer rubber, for sure, and that way they don't last as long, but they would probably grip ice better. But if you're going into the backcountry, ice is not necessarily your problem. You want to get through snow, or mud as it may be too in the summer. So, now the second point here is my own experience has taught me how important it is for treads to clean themselves out. Perhaps some of you have noticed that as well, and that's sort of what I just explained to you here. So we'll just go on, where I go on to say, like in mud, you got to go 50 or 60 kilometers an hour to get the mud flying out of your treads. So if you go too slow in mud and just creep along, you're actually more likely to slide off into the ditch than if you're going a little bit faster. You got to have that speed to throw the mud out. But and it may also be the case in snow, I believe. So I'll go on to say, so maybe there's something to what the guy says. Perhaps maybe the deeper grooves of the snow tires don't clean themselves out from snow as well. So anyways, I say there's plenty of folks here with experience, so I'm interested in hearing if anyone has come to this conclusion as well. And a little quick picture of winter tires and all seasons. First reply is a tire with a decent aggressive grip is gripping and grip sipping is fine. Invest in a good set of chains. Yeah, chains are a good idea, and I do carry a set of chains now. That's going to get you out of some serious troubles, but that's a little outside the scope of this video. I do agree with you. I run studded winters, but certain conditions I do wish I had my KO2s instead. There's another one here. Never all season. If anything, get all weather. Oh, and that's this guy brings up a valid point, and we have to pay attention to this. So those of you who are watching, don't be confused between all seasons and all weathers. All seasons can be a hard rubber, and they are not made for winter use in cold temperatures. So if you're looking for something to get you through the winter in snow and stuff like that, Yeah, all seasons are not going to do you very well. They're a hard rubber. It lasts long, but what you want is all weather, and that's the type that has a little mountain symbol. We'll see that later on in these remarks. It's got it on the sidewall and has a little snowflake on that emblem there, and that means that that tire is made out of a rubber compound that will stay grippy in cold weather. So not all season, go with all weathers. And let's go along. And so there, go along and say, how do you know the salesman is lying? Hint, it's the same as politicians and lawyers. Okay, well, whatever. Yeah. Some people are very cynical, but really, it does. That kind of reasoning doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because if you're a tire salesman, don't you want to sell winter tires? Because then the guy has to have two sets of tires, and he's probably going to come in and have you swap them around to summer tires, from summer to winter and winter to summer twice a year. So it's more in the salesman's benefit to recommend snow tires, not all weather tires. So I think we can safely kind of set that reasoning aside. Okay, Don, my experience is snow tires work well on cold, slick surfaces. So my wife has winter tires. I drive more snow-covered roads and prefer a good aggressive all-season in the 1 ton. So that's pretty much accords with what I was just saying here too about the snow tires being pretty good on ice. So let's not throw the notion of snow tires right out the window completely. If you're driving in the city a lot on icy roads, snow tire might do you a lot of good. But this video is focused on the needs of getting through deep snow, especially in the outback situations. Here's another one. All seasons aren't good. I'm running Toyo mountains, chew through deep snow like crazy and are great mud. I wouldn't believe what I was going through with them, and I do a lot of off-roading. Best hunting tire I've ever owned. Now this is a little bit, okay, so he's using Toyo MT. I think that's, the MT is your all-weathers. So another guy reinforcing the opinion that all seasons and all weathers are two different animals here. Now there's going to be some guys referring to tires that I'm not exactly sure what they are, but there's a lot of Duratrax references for the Duratrax tires. I believe that Duratrax is an all-weather, so we'll keep that in mind as we go through here too. Put it this way, I drive a Grand Caravan with all seasons. That's he's called it all seasons. I was behind a woman with brand new winter tires the other day, followed her through a parking lot, and we were leaving, and she slid everywhere. I had zero issues. So probably, now here's a guy, this is probably just a nomenclature problem here. He's saying all seasons, and I used to say all seasons too, thinking that was just basically your two types. But he probably does mean all weather, the ones with a little snowflake and mountain rating on them. So another guy, studded tires make a big difference. A lot of people are going to be recommending studded tires, but that's a little outside of the scope too. This question is dealing with something that you can choose between all weathers and snow tires. Makes sense. I had good luck with all weather tires. They have the winter rating but are more of a year-round tire. That's what I believe too. So you're starting to see that the all-weathers are getting pretty popular here. Here we get the Duratrax references. A lot of guys are going to be recommending these, but there are also some skeptics of the Duratrax, so something to keep in mind. But there's a lot of different tire manufacturers in the business, and they do a lot of work and research on tread designs, and they're very competitive with each other. So it's not like one company has a corner on the market either. If you get a good, a well-designed tread pattern for your tire, for an all-weather tire, that's not just the domain of one particular company. But as that said, there's a lot of references to Duratrax. This guy says, I found the Duratrax were best all around, good on ice, but they really chew when they get into deep snow. So basically, this is agreement that the all-weather is is good for snow. Agreed. I just put a set on my truck on Friday. Okay. Was a great tire, but everyone knows that can't stand up on gravel roads. They get chewed up pretty quick, but great design of tire that I'm sure we've all ran and run on vehicles. So maybe the Duratracs aren't that long lasting on gravel. Yeah, they're junk for summer, good in the mud too, but they don't last worth a whatever in the summer. And keep in mind, these comments are all coming from people who really do use their vehicles in off-road situations or marginal situations out in the remoter areas. Because this is a hunting group that this question was posted on. Hey, I have the same on my truck. They are rated as a winter tire, so yes, definitely softer and don't last as long as some others. I run them all year round and they never let me down in rain, mud, snow, sand, or anything else. Now the guy, they have let me down in northern BC hunting and working quite a few times. They sharp crush, they put down sharp crushed gravel, put on the roads, and it punctures them. I've blown a lot of them out. But I do like them for the winter. I have a new set on my truck right now. So this is a guy referring to the Duratracs tires specifically. Now the guy been running them for years. Forestry, a lot of crappy places, rarely get a flat. I only get 60K on the diesels out of them, but they are worth it. Just a solid year-round tire, referring to the Duratracs. Sharp crush will destroy anything, and that's probably a pretty good point. Sharp crush gravel just abrades and cuts your tires, and they go a lot quicker. I tend to not drive too fast through that kind of road and keep them slightly under pressure. Another guy on the Duratracs, we're going to get a lot of Duratracs stuff here. Duratracs was the only time I've ever had a stick puncture in my sidewall. Maybe it was just a sharp stick, but it makes me unsure about buying Goodyear again. So Duratracs is a Goodyear tire, right? How about this person here? I run mud and snow Duratracs tires year round, love them, had them on for close to 125,000 kilometers. That's a lot. Due for new ones in the spring, I'm thinking. Best tire I've ever put on. That's a lot of kilometers. The best I can get is 80, another guy says. 125, please send me a picture. I think you set a record. I work at a tire shop and we switch those out on trucks daily that only get maybe 50K. So maybe, keep that in mind. I put 50K on them, another guy says, and haven't had to rotate them. The guy says our diesel Chevs are getting 60K plus before we need a new set. And for all the dirt road driving we do, I rarely get a flat. The Duratracs have been the best bang for buck I've come across. The guy, I paid 90K put 90K on. Okay, we'll just kind of skim through this a little bit, There's another guy, put factory tire, currently saying 260,000 kilometers on this truck. Well, I don't know. A little picture of the tread. Let's go along here. Here's another guy who works in the tire shop. I kind of like the comments from people that work in the tire shops because they see a lot, eh? He says, I work in a tire shop. I see it firsthand daily. Duratracs are garbage. See, there's all kinds of opinions. They wear out way too fast. I run a Toyo AT2 and on my 1-ton year-round. The Toyo AT2 is a tire make, eh? I have a set of chains for when things get out of control, but your friend is correct. Snow tires are shit, and pardon me, snow tires are crap, because YouTube doesn't want me to say that word there. And snow tires are crap in deep snow. An all-terrain tire is the way to go. You see in the general direction of these comments here. So, the guy says, I've run Duratracs on my last 3 trucks, so a lot of people are saying, they don't agree with this guy, but, this fella works in a tire shop, and that's what he's reinforcing that view that all weathers are superior to snow tires in the snow. Another guy runs, okay, here, my dad owns a tire shop. All weather tires are winter rated, all season are not. This is a point I was trying to make earlier. Look for the snowflake mountain symbol on the tire for the winter rating. Many all-terrain tires are winter rated now. I personally have the BF Goodrich KO2s for the winter and all seasons for the summer. Winter tires are designed for different conditions. Some for snow and others for ice. The rubber compound in them is softer. The biggest mistake people make is they think all season and all weather are the same, and all weather are winter rated. All season tires are only good for weather 7 degrees and above, and he's talking Celsius degrees. So he's reinforcing the point about the distinction between all season and all weather here. The guy, best thing to do is look for that triple peak snowflake rated for winter, and now we got a nice picture of that right here. So that's good. Look for this on the sidewall of your tires if you're unsure what you're buying. Because if you go, like I tend to go to tire shops that are really tire shops where I know the people and I know that they're knowledgeable. But if I was buying a tire from a big box store, I wouldn't trust too much what the guy behind the counter has to say. You want to verify some of this stuff yourself, and if you say I need a good all-weather tire for the winter, he might not know the difference. So when you look at the tire, say I want to see that it has that that snow mountain and snowflake symbol on the side of it. Okay, so hopefully some of this information you're receiving will save you some money down the road. Okay, I run all season on all off-road Coopers that are winter rated. I'm halfway to the next light while others are still in the intersection, and they've worked well in deep snow. I also have 4 chains, as I have front and rear lockers. I have 4 chains too. They cost quite a bit to buy 2 sets of chains, like for good ones, up over $500. But boy, if they can get you out, and not only chains but also traction boards, and carry those with you, that can get you out of snow too and mud. But anyways, I digress. So he has 4 chains and he has a winch. That's also a good thing to have. Like if you're going in out of the way places, you really have to be prepared, because especially in winter conditions, you could freeze to death out there. And think about how much your life is worth to you. Okay, if you try winter tires, you will always want them on your vehicle come winter time. Okay, so this guy is an opposite opinion, but he doesn't provide much reasoning behind it. Another guy says depends. Okay, let's go along here. Here's guy Yokohama G106 or Duratrack. He likes those all-season tires. Another guy, all seasons are different from all weather. Another guy is saying, can you make this shareable? Well, here we are. We're sharing it right now. Okay, I work in the patch, and by the patch, Albertans mean the oil patch. So needless to say, snow-covered roads are a given. I run Nito Ridge grapplers on my 1-ton all year round and rarely take the truck out of 2x4. What I did notice making a huge difference is having weight in the box of the truck. When I have my rat pack in the truck, it never sees 4x4. Here's another one. If you're chewing through deep snow to a cabin, which is what I do, and you saw some glimpses of that in the intro to this video, right? Where we go is like 2 hours drive on rough gravel roads to the nearest settlement or nearest town. So we're really out of the way, and then we have to go through logging roads for the last 2 kilometers. So that's what this guy's referring to. If you're chewing through deep snow to a cabin, I would go with an aggressive all-terrain or winter-rated mud tire, which should be just all-weather tire. I run Goodyear Fierce Attitude on my half-ton and go through a lot of snow with 0 issues. I also carry a set of chains, tire chains, for really bad spots. they're ultimately the best thing for severe off-roading in snow, and if installed properly won't hurt your tires, so you can run whatever you please under them. Okay, so what we're getting into, and I hinted at that in the introduction to this video, I hope that through this discussion that you also take note of some of the advice people are giving, especially if you're not really experienced with driving through snow in marginal conditions. People here are giving good advice on what to do, how to prepare and things like that, what you should have with you. Here's another one. I run all-terrain Duratrax year-round, awesome tires. I asked the tire guy one time for a tire that would last, and so they don't often know. So another Duratrax guy, another one saying he was running multiple Chevs, gas and diesel, forestry. I mean, you can pause this video. I'm going to skim over some of these a little bit and not spend too much time on each one. But you can always pause the video, and if you want to read the full text, that's partly why I'm doing this here, is letting you see everything the way it was presented. Okay, so this guy works 365 days a year and those tires haven't let him down yet, Duratrax. He says he usually does drop the pounds per square inch a tiny bit during the winter for a little extra grip. And we go places we shouldn't. So there's another little tip about getting through snow in bad conditions, especially snow, dropping the air pressure in your tires. Of course, if you're going to do that, then you should bring along a portable air compressor to pump them back up when you get back onto the normal roads. But dropping air pressure on your tire can make a huge difference, because that's going to increase that surface area and put less pressure on the snow, so you're less likely to sink down into it. Just like riding with on skis. Okay, so another guy, I agree, he likes the Duratrax. Okay, how about this guy? Okay, let's pay attention to this guy here. He says he's worked in the tire industry for 8 years. Started as a truck pad hand and service truck driver, worked my way up through sales to management. All weather, actually rated for snow. Look on the sidewall for the Three Peak Mountain. Okay, yeah, all season will not have that mountain with the snowflake. Traction wise on ice, most all weathers are about a halfway point between all season and winter. We're talking about ice. In mud or off-road type stuff, though, all weathers will win, especially if it's an all-terrain, all-weather mix. Personally, I love my winters, but if you don't want to have two sets of tires, I definitely recommend all weathers to a lot of my customers. BFG KO2 are a good choice, but not great on ice. Nokian, Rotiva Plus, Sumitomo AT, and Nitto GTW are all great all-weather options for trucks in 99% of road conditions, except for freezing rain. I put 2 of those options on my dad's and my brother's trucks as well. So this guy is saying that the all-weathers are actually better through the snow, but the downside is snow tires are going to give you a little better grip on the ice. Personally, I'm not so worried about the ice. What I'm worried about is getting stuck out in the bush. I can handle the ice with proper judgment and slowing down or whatever you need to do to keep your vehicle under control. That stuff is all within our control, I think. But if you don't have enough traction and you're pushing ahead through deep snow, especially when you hit a bit of a drift, a deeper drift, and you lose traction, now you got problems. Ice is judgment and driving technique. Okay, so thanks. The guy says the new tires I settled on for my '94 Suburban. Oh, that's me. Okay, so you notice I'm blurring out everybody's names just for privacy reasons, because this is a private, it's a private Facebook group, and you have to preserve that privacy. You can't go and spill that outside without people's permission. So, but this is me here. So here I'm telling what tires I got. So if you're interested, these are not necessarily the best, but they're a 10-ply tire. It's a Nexen Rhodian AT Pro RA8 123/120R 10/E. 10 is, I think, the ply. So this is a pretty sturdy sidewall tire. Meant to carry quite a bit of weight. It's actually maybe a little bit overkill in the case of my truck, but it is the 94 GMC Suburban is a pretty heavy vehicle, and we really load it right up sometimes. So it's an OWL LT 265/75R 6E. So for those of you who don't know, the 265 here, that refers to the width of the tire in millimeters. The 75 means 75% of the width of the tire is what the height of the sidewall is, from the top of the tread to the rim. And then of course the I think I wrote that down wrong. That should be R16 at the end. So R16 is 16 refers to the diameter of the wheel. So, and then I just shared a little video. You're welcome to subscribe to the channel, by the way. I hope you do. Lots of stuff on there. And I appreciate your support when you, and click like on this video too, because it helps against with a YouTube algorithm. Okay, let's continue on here. Those tires cost, and I mentioned that the tires I bought cost slightly more than I paid for my whole truck. The 94 Suburban, 367,000 kilometers on it. It's I bought that truck for $1,000. So the tires did cost more than the truck. Okay, here's a guy I'm testing Maxxis Bighorn with studs. Okay, yeah, but you know, they're loud when you're going down the highway, so it's something else to consider with studded tires. Winter tires, all season, are for mid-USA seasons. Okay, so this guy's taking a contrary view, but you notice the people that are recommending the winter tires and just make statements like, they seldom have any logic or reasoning or experience to relate, to share, that backs up their opinions. He just says winter tires. But so another guy responds to that, all season is not equal to all weather. So yeah, this guy that's saying winter tires over all season, he's obviously probably not that well informed, because it doesn't even realize that there is a difference between all season and all weather. So this guy is correcting him on that. An all weather tire meets RAC winter testing standards. He likes the Michelin Cross Climate 2 and the Nokian WRs. Okay, shall we spend more time on that? Oh, a number of Alberta police agencies moved to the Nokian all year. I think he meant Nokian all weather, instead of switching between the Eagle RSA for summer and then the Eagle Ultra Grip for winter. So that's kind of interesting. Looks like the police, some police agencies in Alberta are switching to all weathers by the looks of it, instead of swapping them from winter tires to summer tires back and forth all the time. So here comes another guy, mechanic 4x4 delivery driver. If you're sticking to typically plowed roads that may be icy, you want some good ice snow tires. If you're expecting to crush a foot of snow on a back road and then drive to work on Monday, I go towards a mud and snow style, more aggressive mud style tire. You've got to give up a bit to gain it elsewhere. So that's, yeah, it's sort of it's pretty consistent. Most of the advice is pretty consistent. You know, snow tires are good for ice, but all weathers really chew up the snow. Here's another guy, but he says winter tires are great for winter roads, icy roads, and pack snow. Winter off-road, deep snow, mud tires are fantastic. And I think we should interpret that what people are saying here is that's basically a recommendation for all weathers. Their mud tires are good for going through mud and snow. But he mentions, but they're piss poor on ice, right? So a lot of consistency in this advice here, which is surprising in a way. The tread design on winter tires have been designed to increase traction surface area. The compounds used in the tire are designed to be softer, especially at colder temperatures, or have additional material to assist in traction. Driving on the highway or around town, they are a better choice. If you're driving in snow-covered roads, you need to clear the snow from the tread tires. Snipping assists with this. But if you have wider gaps between your tread, you lose surface area. But if your tire clears the snow, and you maintain traction. Catch-22, one's better driving around during the winter, the other's better getting through snow. My wife has winter tires on her car. I have winter-rated all-weather mud and snow tires on my truck. Here's another guy that's talking about how salespeople will just sell you what they have. I think to kind of dismiss that at the beginning of this. Duratrax, my way to go. Okay, there's a Duratrax guy, Wrangler Duratrax. My second set. He says he gets 110,000 kilometers on them. Here's another guy, Goodyear Duratrax on my truck. Boy, that's a popular tire. They're winter rated, so let's kind of go let's see if he says much else here. I use my truck on the freeways and the snow, and they never let me down. They let them spin in order to throw snow and mud from the treads. The thing I like most about them is they don't make that annoying hum that some of the luggier tires make on paved roads. Okay, Duratrax is the answer. Only complaint is they get loud at 50% life. Interesting. Okay, let's see here. Definitely need the wider lugs to throw snow. Their advice was bang on. I love Duratrax, but if your truck is 3/4 ton or bigger, you won't easily be able to get them because you'll need 10-ply. Well, I've got 10-ply. And all that seems to be available right now are 4-ply. Well, there's, at the time of this video recording, we are in 2021, just about to kick over to 2022, and there has been a lot of shortages on everything, and that includes tires. So yeah, your choices of tires at this time are a concern. You can't necessarily get everything that you want exactly the way you want. So this guy says he's on his 3/4 ton he's running Cooper Discoverer Max SD, and he's very happy with them. BFG KO2s are decent. Both are aggressive all-terrain, 3-peak all-weathers. If you're worried about running in all weather on ice, you can get them studded, but honestly, I don't think you'll need to. Another guy, get some bush experience. In the bush and all over my trap line, I run Duratrax, and I have no complaints. Okay, Duratrax again. I bought a tracker with an all-weather tire like you have in the photo. I was blown away where I went. 6 inches of fresh snow, no problem. I was pretty blown away too with my Nexen all-weathers. I pushed through nearly a foot of snow in that video that you were watching at the beginning, and it was just dripping right all the way through. Of course, that kind of expectation of what you can get to is going to vary a lot depending on the type of snow it is. So if it's that really dry, grainy snow, it might be, it's not going to be as easy, so you can never make an absolute rule when it comes to traveling through snow. But yeah, I found the all-weathers pretty impressive. Like, I was just about high bottoming. The snow was so deep and just going through like nothing basically. Although it was conditions where I probably, to be on the safe side, I should have maybe put chains on before going through. So anyhow, here's a guy, Naito Ridge Grapplers for summer and fall. I run my Nokian Haka Pelletias for winters. Okay, let's see if there's any. Let's not spend too much time on arguing about various brands and stuff like that. But we might have some comments here about techniques too. On an off-ramp, you're near, okay, if you're going to push limits, Blizzak, okay, this is more analysis of various different types. You can pause the video and take longer to read through some of this. Michelin's also makes a good tire. Okay, let's see here. Couldn't be bothered swapping tires back and forth, so he runs one tire all year. That's what I do too. Pirelli Scorpions, the guy likes. C, main question. What conditions are you driving on with your vehicle that gets the most repetitive use? Is it solely for trips to the cabin? Pavement, gravel, frozen skeg, winter road, temperature, plus what are you hanging them on, a heavy or a light vehicle, 2x4 or 4x4? Most good tires for winter, and I'm just going to pause here for a second. Like, I really appreciate the thought and the detail a lot of these responders put into their posts here. Okay, most good tires for winter and snow ice are like the ones in your picture, lots of small grooves. These are not. These are not what you want for mud. Wide grooves, and I just pulled a sample picture off the internet, that initial one that he's referring to. It's not really my tire. Wide grooves, open tread like the Toyos and Chiron's picture. I have run them on big diesel for the last 15 years. What works for both situations is carrying a really good mini compressor, giving you the ability to air your tires down to lower pressure, and that increases the footprint area, giving contact, and allows the tire to flex more, which also cleans the treads out better. That's something that's a little different too, eh? So not only are you decreasing your footprint pressure on the snow, but because that flexing, it's going to tend to kick the snow out of the treads as well. So that deflating tires is a pretty good approach. I've got all weathers, this guy says, with snowflake grading. Okay, another one. I bought this type. You know, basically all the advice is going towards all weathers. This tires last me 110,000, silver out of pickup. What else here? Bottom line, customer buys what will best for them, use more highway driving. Okay, so we're talking about different uses. You do have to balance your decisions on what most of your driving is doing, but personally, I tend to shift my balance and the decision making towards where I'm going to need them the most, not where I do the most driving and spend most of my time driving. So that's a different way to look at it too, right? I can get to the city and the regular highways on anything, but where I'm most going to need the right tire is when I'm away from everything and I don't have any help. Okay, so let's see. Eastern Canada are very active in hunting, tin ply, and they take a beating. Rotate your tires every 7,000 kilometers. It's not cheap, but you get what you pay for. That's another thing. You might want to consider rotating your tires periodically too, to increase their life. Okay, depending on the size. Let's see what else interesting people have to say here. All weather, mud and snow, soft rubber for icy, and good cleaning tread. Riding in deep snow, off-road, icy highways, and muddy conditions. Okay, let's see what is clear here. The tire. Here's a guy says, your tire guy is correct. Think of dedicated winter tires these days more like ice tires. They're great for traction on icy highways, city streets, etc. They are crap for braking, trail, rural driving, country roads that don't see a plow for days. A good winter rated AT, or all weather it should be, or all terrain, is better for off-road, deep snow, etc. So I think we're getting quite a bit of consensus here. How heavy is your vehicle? You have more options in SUV size than truck sizes. Michelin Cross Climate 2 is exceptional, but wears pretty quick and they don't have much for heavy vehicles. It's an amazing tire if you can get it in a size that works and are okay with swapping them more frequently. Nokian WR, he goes on to recommend a few. There are all-terrain tires which meet the friction standards of snow tires too. I guess when he's talking about ice. Okay, good dedicated winter tire. You can always read all of this yourself later. Good on snow ice. Okay. This guy's a little bit back and forth, but anyways. This is crazy. I was just looking into this myself. Not more than 5 hours ago, Google helped to explain. Very much considering winter tires. But yeah, so I'm not the only one that. The reason I asked this question is because I think this is an area that people need more information about. So hopefully this video does some good. And I think it did some good also in this discussion forum. You may not be happy with longevity, okay. There's another guy talking about, okay, why wouldn't you get an aggressive snow tire? Well, this guy is reacting to my question or this challenge to this notion of snow tires, and I don't blame him. I mean, they call them snow tires. It's supposed to be the best thing for snow, but not necessarily. Snow doesn't mean, snow maybe means ice, and they should maybe start calling them ice tires, not snow tires. Okay, all weather tires are not all season, so that's been said before. And huge difference between all season and all weather, so that's been said. Get yourself oh, here we go with the Duratrax again, and Mickey Thompson, Michelin, a bunch of, but he likes the Duratrax better than the others. Hey, snow designed to hold snow. Hey, here's a guy who makes an argument that he's heard from an engineer, and that it's snow tires are designed to hold snow in them on purpose because snow on snow traction is better than rubber on snow traction. Also, all weather tires are winter rated, and I ran a set on my Audi for a couple of years, and they are great. Also on ice, okay. The only way to make a difference on ice is with studs, yeah. So this guy is making a point that maybe you want to consider. This is a lot of information being packed into this discussion thread. So he's saying an engineer tells him that you want to have snow to stay in your treads. I'm not sure if he's right, but it's I mean, you having an open tread leaves those sharp edges to grip and stuff too. So make of that what you will. It's kind of an argument to be made, but there's some types of snow conditions like that. If it's really dry, grainy snow, it doesn't stick together at all, and it just moves around. That's why you get what you really get stuck in, because your tire goes through, and it's just like riding through oatmeal. Very bad snow to try to get through. And you just dig down, and it moves around like sand. That doesn't cohere together. So, but there are some types of snow that do actually stick pretty good, and you just have to take a couple of snowballs and smack them together, and then try to shear the force on them. And they do. The snow does grip against snow. There's no doubt about it in some cases. So there's another way to look at it. I'm not sure how valid it is. Snow on snow only works at warmer temperatures. On slick ice, okay. On slick perhaps, and only when there's a small amount of snow. Okay, so that's maybe another way to look at it. Maybe that type of reasoning works only good for small amounts of snow. And then why warm temps? Okay. And this guy does say, that that reasoning about the snow and snow traction that's only good in the warm temps. I think he has a point there. That's sort of what I was trying to get at too when I was talking about the snowballs sticking together. That's that kind of wet type snow. There's some snow that really grips together, sticks together a lot. So that snow staying in the treads argument might be good for that. And when it comes right down to it, though that's the type of snow that will be most likely to stay in the treads anyways, whatever treads you have, because it sticks to everything. So, interesting topic. Okay, now let's go through here. Literally just watched, here's somebody who literally just watched a video a guy posted from his trap line. He said he recommended good all-weather tires and not the winter for this exact reason, because they clear out much better in winter. This person, a lady, she's referring to a video that it turns out when I asked her to find it, turned out to be a video of mine. So, okay, we kind of got a little bit of a circular argument there, I guess. my argument to back up my argument. So that was funny. But anyways, okay, you said all weather. Okay, description. Okay, a minor point. Throw both tires. Okay. On the rack first. Okay, I packed around separated tire. Okay, so just minor points. It also has to do with tire pliability, colder temperatures. I think we kind of covered that. All season Nokias. The guy lives in Canmore. They got lots of snow there. Are hard packed snow and they work great. They also wear well. I just bought Motomaster eliminators. Awesome. Yeah. Some guy said it claims your insurance goes down with winter tires. I don't know about that. All weather, all season, yeah. Point made before, winter tires are better when you get to -10 and lower. Well, on ice, I would say all seasons are junk. You want all weathers. That's a point that we made before. It's true. I run M+S 3-peak mountain snowflake rated all-weather tires, and don't look back. I can't justify the inflated cost for winter tires rated for the weight of a 1-ton. Well, especially even if I could find one. Winter tires are supposed to hold snow. Snow on snow is way better traction than rubber on snow. If you ever get some fresh snow on the bottom of your tire boot, and then step on ice, slick. Okay, it's way better. Yeah, snow on snow is good when it's against snow, but if it's, yeah. But this is a lot temperature related to this argument, because wet snow sticks to wet snow really good. Okay, wow, your tire guy is one I would never go to again. Okay. Okay, this is the guy who talks about the handfuls of pack. So here's, out of all these comments, you got this one guy. He's almost alone in this, but very confident and a little derogatory too in his remark. But he's, snow tires are the only way to go, and everybody who thinks otherwise is kind of dumb. Right? Well, make of that as you will. He's only one guy, and there's a lot of people with experience saying otherwise in this discussion thread. So, but he does make that point about the two handfuls of snow, packing snow and slapping them together, and they're almost glued together. So, but that's for a certain stickiness of snow varies too. But you can't argue much with real experience, which is why I'm making this video. Up here in Canada, for those of you who are in the States watching, or Eastern Canada where you get a little less snow, take your advice from people who spend a lot of time going through very iffy conditions with their vehicles. That's what I'd recommend, and experience trumps theory. A lot of this stuff is quite often just theory, and then people look for evidence to back up the theory. They call that conceptual bias or whatever. Okay, so for this I like a good sized tire. I also understand where I'm coming from. Just so you understand where I'm coming from, he's a Red Seal mechanic and a retired Army tech. Okay, those both Army and Civilization has taught us about this with science to back it. I'm not a brand loyal person. I found the Mastercraft tires work amazing on my commuter, but they're track best on my 350. Sorry for the long-winded reply, but your tire guy's comment pissed me off because he should know the science. Well, I think this is just an honest difference of opinion, and some people are more excited than others. But I appreciate his input on this anyways. Here's a guy. I worked in a tire shop for 5 years. I was always told that winter tires lost their winter rating after the first season and could only be considered as all season after that. That's over 20 years ago. 20 rubber compounds and tread designs have changed significantly over that time. I've only ever had winter tires on 2 vehicles in 25 years. I don't remember them being significantly better than all seasons, or should say all weathers. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I don't know if the winter rating wears off after the first year, but maybe you've heard that before, I don't know. I used winter tires once, and not cheap ones either. Honestly, I have less issues with all seasons, then winter tires. Again, all weathers, then winter tires. Even when I had my Jeep on ball tires, I had better grip on ice and snow. So this guy's not a fan of winter tires. Guy spends 80% of his time on gravel. And another guy, all weathers are the way to go on trucks if you're leaving pavement. I run an all-weather Nokian Rotiva AT Plus. That way I still get winter traction on my way to hunting spots and off-road traction when I get there. Once season is over, on go the studded tires after the fall. A lot of it comes down to driver skill though, and knowing how to drive to the conditions with what you have. I come flying off the lake once after the whole 2 or 3 kilometer road blew in and the studded tires didn't miss a step. So that's again, the things you have to think about. This guy's been there and come back, eh? So, went in, you go ice fishing, you go in and nice day, and before you leave, a big wind comes up, maybe a snowstorm, and getting out is a whole different matter than getting in. And that's when you need that little bit of extra. Maybe have some tire chains with you, have some grip boards to put underneath the tires, have a winch. Personally, I don't have a winch on my truck, but I have a gas-powered winch, and I will take it with me. It's the capstan style. It'll reach out 100 meters. If I can get an anchor point within 100 meters, I can pull. So you have those things. You have shovels in the back of your truck. Even a garden hoe is good, because if you get high centered with the snow underneath your vehicle, you can reach in there with the garden hoe and pull all that snow out and let the weight get back on your tires. So make sure you have proper equipment with you. And a jackall too. You might have to jack up your vehicle and put some chainsaw is also good. You can jack up the vehicle and saw up wood and put it underneath your wheels if you've fallen into a hole, that type of thing. So a lot of thought can be put into this, and generally the more iffy, difficult places you go, the more thought you should put into it, and the more preparation you should put into it. So I hope I'm not being too long-winded here. We're pretty well at the end. I have another guy with studded tires. Whole family runs them. Too many comments here. One guy says, yeah, it's getting to be a long thread, isn't it? So here we're at the end. And I think, I hope I haven't bored you too much. I really wanted you to have a chance to see the comments as they appear and in their own words. Because I didn't want this video to be just my opinion, because that's all I see on YouTube is one guy standing there. I don't know him from Adam, and he's telling me what's the best thing. And everybody's an expert, of course, but a good way to make your judgments on stuff like this is also to take a consensus, look for if there's a consensus among people with actual experience, because you're not going to get. There might have been 100 people that replied to this thread here. You're not going to get 100 people that are colluding to come up with a conspiracy, to come up with one answer. It's pretty hard to go wrong when you have numbers like that. Whereas when you're listening to someone who's claiming to be an expert, or who's just an expert with one opinion, it's I think that's actually far less reliable than taking a census or a poll of people that really do use the product. So that's my attempt. This is a type of video. This is the first time I've done a video in this fashion. So I'd like to hear from you in the comments if you've stayed watching to this point. Tell me, is this a format that you find useful? This is the first time I've ever tried to do it. It takes a little bit of video editing trickery to make it all appear on the screen properly, but if you like that, I wouldn't mind using this technique again with some other subjects where we want to get the consensus views on things. So let me know. Of course, click like on the video as well, and let's just roll into wrapping this thing up. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a little bit on the long side, but we've gone through a lot of information, and you have the information yourself. One of the things about it is all-weather tires really do the equivalent of a snow tire, and perhaps even better. Maybe you should rethink this whole business of swapping out from snow tires to summer tires every year. You might not be doing yourself any good, and you might be spending money for nothing. So from the Way to Native Chronicles, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. That's the time we're rolling up on here, on December 23rd right now as I film this, and wish you a prosperous new year with all the Lord's blessings. So God bless, and catch you for the next time.